Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So I'm Dan from Trading with Dan. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, and we shall go straight over to those Ethereum Bitcoin charts. So I did mean to go to the Bitcoin one, but I just happened to be on the wrong screen here. So yeah, we can start with this. Yeah, as you can see, we had that pennant. We have drifted, well, broken to the downside, but still trading within obviously the range of these lows. This little area of consolidation on this 4-hour 9 also. So we do look like we could potentially be forming a descending triangle here, which is obviously is a bearish formation, but we have the trend that is upwards. So we'll just have to monitor this, how we go. Obviously Bitcoin is looking a bit dicey, so that is having its effects on altcoins. And obviously Ethereum being the main altcoin. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. But we could be coming to test some downside, which obviously isn't going to be the worst thing. We've had this nice move up. We've had basically 3 legs up. So if we then come down and test somewhere in this area, it would look quite normal in the chart. Also, as you can see, we've broken out of this trend line. I mean, we could potentially come even down as low to back test this trend line that we've broken above. So yeah, I mean, you can kind of say we did test it then, but we were also just getting held above this was horizontal. So I think if Bitcoin does start to look good again, to start to hold the line around this 50,000, then I think basically we could get some more bullish price action in this Ethereum Satoshi pairing. The Ethereum USD pairing, as you can see, holding within this range. So obviously it's quite a wide range, but realistically, as long as we're holding this horizontal, we are looking good. I mean, actually, to be honest, we can extend this along, and we can make this sort of a support range. If I find the right drawing tool, I think that's the line. It's this one, and it's the square, isn't it? Except for I can't find it. They're not. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so it's is it the rectangle on here? I'm sure it's a rectangle on here, but it's just not. Oh, here it is. There it is. So yeah, we can draw this. We can draw this in here as sort of a support area. A support area, and this is realistically where we've got to hold. We've got to hold this level, and then Ethereum, it will still be looking particularly bullish for eventually a nice move to the upside as cryptocurrency resumes the bull trend. Obviously, we have this level as a level now to watch out. If we break below here, and especially break below this trend line, then yeah, we will most likely be testing lower prices. But obviously, we'll wait for those confirmations. And as of yet, things are bullish until they aren't. So yeah, Bitcoin dominance as well is as you can see getting a bit of sideways volatility at this level, which is what I was kind of expecting. I mean, I'm still bearish on this, but as with the DXY, it was a similar situation when we were coming down in the DXY. I was still bearish of this overall, but I was thinking we can get a pretty I say substantial. It wasn't actually substantial in the overall downtrend that we've had, but a pretty nice move back into this area before we potentially continue downwards, which is what we actually got. So that is similar to what I'm kind of looking at in this Bitcoin dominance. We've had a pretty this is almost looks the same to me. Pretty substantial move all the way down, and then we can expect a pullback even into the 57s, and then potentially into this zone before getting rejected and coming down again. So that's kind of what I'm thinking we could be seeing, and that would still be bearish overall, but clearly a move 5% up in the Bitcoin dominance is going to have a major impact on a lot of altcoins. So that's a potential scenario that I think has a decent likelihood of happening, but we shall see, because we can just lose this and catapult continue down. So, and that would likely that could potentially happen if Bitcoin is just going to basically sort of sideways range around, well, not necessarily around the levels it's at, but if it can regain this 52.5 and it starts to trade in this range here, I think then we could see actual altcoins start to do really well again, and we could literally just have another leg down in the Bitcoin dominance. So that's what I'm looking at there. Other than that, over to Bitcoin themselves, because obviously we haven't looked at that. You can see we are looking like another potential bear flag here. Doing our best. Bitcoin is doing its best to hold this 49.5. But obviously you can see it's not doing so. It's not doing so well. It's not looking so good, is it? It's not really managed to take out this high. It tried to get there. It's certainly not managed to tap up into the 52,000. So it is looking potentially weak. But we shall see what next week's markets, when they open, have in store for us, as in the traditional markets. So stock markets keep continuing that trend to the upside. If the dollar continues to look weak in the downward trend that it is currently in, then I think we will get that would be a serious tailwind into this, and potentially get us above this 52.5 and get us into the zone again, and get us looking, get people not so fearful again. And we will then look back at this as a sort of front running of this important level here. A bit of a squeaky bum time, hold your breath, and then looking okay again, looking relatively safe for some sideways and potential building some upside momentum. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Again, it is levels. I do think if we keep struggling with this 49.5 level, we are going to come down, I think, and test into the 46s, and then it's a case of, do we hold there? One last flush out, one last leg down. You know that the markets like to move in threes, 1, 2, and then would that be a third leg down? Potentially, and then can we make some progress to the upside? We will have to see. And even if that upside, I mean, I think we are going to take out these highs this year, but we could stay trapped in this range for a while. One thing I do tell myself when I sit and think, have we put the high in here? I asked myself, what was the previous high of Bitcoin in the last bull run, and that was we can roughly call it 20k. So this is roughly a 3x of the previous high. Do we think this bull run Bitcoin is only going to do a 3x of its previous bull run all-time high? And I have to resoundingly tell myself that, like, no way. like yeah, just we're clearly going to do a lot more X's than 3. That's kind of what I think. If not, if we don't, and this is the high, then I mean, you could almost say, well, that's it. Bitcoin's done. We're not going to get another bull. That's it. That's going to be the ultimate high for Bitcoin, and it's all downhill from there. We're not going to get another macro bull cycle. That is, I mean, if 3x was the high, this was the high, and this was high, it was going to top, I would seriously question whether Bitcoin would ever take out this high again. And that's obviously something that I don't really think I'm going to ever be telling myself. So, but hey, we have to see what happens. I mean, if this does ultimately be the high, we do break down through 46, we do break down through 40, and we do start to make a move back down, and we do basically break those levels, then yeah, we will be in a bear market. And then, like I said, if this previous bull run only got us a 3x, I mean, what realistic confidence is anyone going to have in the next bull run in crypto, if there's going to even be one? So that is what I mean. That's how I justify it in my mind, that we're clearly not near the top. We are just obviously having some a healthy potential correction. I mean, we've not really had one yet. I mean, you can see this move up. We can easily pull back into any of these levels. I mean, even this level, I mean, even looking at this chart, honestly, looking at this chart, as absolutely disgusting as it sounds to say, we could see a pull back to 20k, consolidate around that previous high, and then try and make a move up. But yeah, like I've said, do I think 3x is the high? I think it is less likely, but I mean, there is a scenario where we can do that, but then will Bitcoin never get all the way to that level again, and will we just sort of bounce in this level before potentially losing this macro massive uptrend and then come down? I don't think that is the case. But don't forget, Bitcoin is just one cryptocurrency. It is obviously the main one. It doesn't have to remain the main one. Yahoo never remained the first search engine. The Model T never remained the first car. Ford remained the first car. Lots of things. MySpace never remained the first social network. Bitcoin doesn't have to remain the main cryptocurrency, and that is obviously that's blasphemous talk to some Bitcoin maximalists, but it is a reality of the situation. There is no guarantee. This does not have to be the be all and all. Cryptocurrency as an ecosystem as a whole could potentially trundle along with Bitcoin becoming of less and less importance. Ethereum, I think, would be a main contender. Outsiders, maybe the whole Polkadot ecosystem with its layer 0, that could be a contender to be the main ones going forward. It doesn't have to be Bitcoin, so we don't even as bearish as some of the talk I'm saying of if Bitcoin pulls back from here, we may never see this high again. As bearish as a lot of that talk may sound, it doesn't necessarily have to be as bearish for the whole crypto ecosystem as a whole. So yeah, that is it. That's all I really wanted to say on that. Let's have a look at those stochastics though. How are they looking? How are they looking? Because we do know they were looking pretty bearish yesterday. But yeah, 4 hour has turned up. This is gonna give us a bit of upward momentum. Not looking too bad here. I mean, this could get us a nice bounce off here, and then it is a case of can we take out 50? 50. I mean, to be on the safe side, we call it 51.5. Get over 51.5, and I think we could then potentially get up to 52.5, and actually have the momentum to break through. That's based on the 4 hours. Let's look at the other time frames, but I suspect they maybe are giving us an inclination that we could be looking at that potential move. So yeah, 10 hours turn back up. So if it does get going, if we do start to get above 50, 51, this starts to move, then I think we've got a good chance of breaking below that above that 52.5. 12 hours not turned back up yet, so it is still diving. So we've not got that on our side yet. Daily is still diving, not gotten that on our side yet. 2-day, obviously everything else is pretty much moving to the downside. So we've obviously got this whole trading day. We can then potentially wait for futures to open, and then traditional markets, the cash markets to open tomorrow also, and then that could be the point there where the 12 hour and daily are also turning up if we hold in this area. And then I do think we certainly will have a stochastic read indicating a high likelihood of a break into this area. So assuming we don't lose 49.5 before then and then come down lower, those stochastics will start to turn up and start to give us a good chance of a move into this zone. But we are looking at are we in a medium term downtrend? We've printed this high here and then this lower low. Where do we potentially print another lower high? I mean, clearly it has to be below this level. You could even in the most bearish scenario, it would be we wouldn't even get back above 58.5 on a closing basis, and that could then be the lower high. Then that could indicate a lower low on the cards. But I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves now, really. Anyway, we've got to first and foremost see if we can hold 49.5, see if we can turn those stochastics up, see if the major markets, traditional finance 1.0 markets have a good start to the week, get us back into this zone, and then yeah, see if we can get some follow through with some of these mid-range 10, 12 hour and daily stochastics that can then hopefully feed through to this higher time frames and then potentially get us above this 58.5, and at which point we will be looking relatively good for being able to take out these highs and continue upwards, but not for definite, because we do have this new dynamic of this low relative to these lows here. All I will say is that we don't have a new low. I mean, as pointless as it may sound, we don't have a new low compared to this level here. So That's obviously just like cherry picking which lows I want to kind of look at, but you can kind of look at this as a whole formation here, an ascending wedge, a rising wedge. So if these lows are just part of that formation, this is a pullback of the break of that formation, and then we do then put in a higher low relative to the low of the start of that previous formation, then we can potentially look at this low relative to this low and ignore these lows. And that's not just me just being pointlessly bullish. I mean, that is potentially how I see it. We have formation, break, and then new higher low, relative higher than this obviously low here, ignoring these lows as part of that formation. It is one way of looking at it. It is obviously erring on the optimistic bullish side, but I don't see it. I definitely don't see it as unreasonable. And if we do get above 48.5 consolidating here and then have a good shot of breaking above 58.5, then I think that will start to look like a reasonable, most likely scenario that we then going to take out this high, continue the bull trend, and everything is going to be all fine fine and dandy. But again, like I said, just levels of confirmation: 50, 50, 49.5, 46, 52.5. Just watch the levels for the breakouts, the back tests, and yeah, just keep it as simple as you can for yourself. So there we go, guys. This is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always DYOR. Yeah, one last thing on general optimism in the market. I mean, we have got potential. We have got Ethereum gas fees are coming down quite considerably. We have got ETH 2.0. We have got ETH doing well overall. We have got the whole hopefully going live soon, Kasama and Polkadot's like at some point in the next few months. There is a lot of optimism, fundamental drivers in the crypto market to keep us looking good. And like I've said, I don't think Bitcoin is the be-all and end-all of the crypto market like it used to be. I think a lot more people are involved in crypto now, and a lot more people are not just in Bitcoin. And yeah, I mean, Bitcoin may increasingly start to play less and less of an important role, especially on the basis we don't have turn complete smart contracts on Bitcoin. So there you go. In much the same way, you can look at, say, gold in the precious metals markets, and other precious metals are important, do move more than gold. Gold may be more stable, but maybe doesn't perform as well. And yeah, it just could be we could look at that in the maturing stages of the cryptocurrency ecosystems. So yeah, thank you for listening, guys. Remember, this is not financial advice or fundamental cryptocurrency advice. I'm not a financial advisor, so always do your own research, and I shall speak to you guys soon.